What's up everyone, and welcome back to a brand new SkillCapped video. Today we're excited to be sharing with you the 3 best solo carry champions for every single role in patch 11.7. Our analysts have picked out these champions based on their raw carry power and potential to influence games more so than others for the current meta. Just before we get into it though, what are your initial thoughts on Gwen so far? It looks like she'll be another release with a ton of mobility and outplay potential, which can be good or bad depending on who you ask. Regardless, with every new release, she'll probably end up overtuned and need to be nerfed countless times. So let us know what you think of Gwen down in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And now, let's get started. A champion about to break out and start taking over the meta is Wukong, so we've got him as a top 3 solo carry pickup. With Trinity Force buffs this patch, Wukong becomes indirectly stronger. A few meta top laners like Fiora and Riven are being hit with the Essence Reaver nerfs, which indirectly boosts Wukong up in priority. It really just comes down to how broken the champ is against all the meta top laners. Gnar, Darius, and Fiora are Wukong's most common matchups at the moment, and he smashes all of them, holding a 53% win rate against each. Wu's passive is just so strong against any AD top lane pick, as he gains bonus armor, which is amplified when fighting his opponent. This, coupled with the fact that Wukong's mobility allows him to outplay abilities like Darius or Aatrox's Q and negate a ton of their damage, makes him so amazing. Let's not forget his teamfight power is some of the best for any top laner as well, which makes him such a consistent carry threat. The only meta champ you really need to worry about is Malphite, so just ban him out and it's smooth sailing. Definitely try out Trinity Force Rush on your Wu for this patch. Divine Sunderer will still remain a great option against tankier matchups, but the Trinity Force buffs are going to really bolster your ability to melt towers and snowball out of control. There's really nothing better than Conqueror for Wukong's Keystone, combined with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Grab Free Boots and Biscuits for secondaries. Another hard carry top laner who's exploded in strength as of recent is Urgot. Like Wukong, Urgot is a really great blind pickable top laner, as his strength in meta matchups is top notch. He can destroy Riven, do very well into Gnar, and has a positive win rate against all of his 10 most common matchups. What ultimately pushed Urgot over the top a few patches back was the finding of his new OP build consisting of Titanic Hydra Rush into Stridebreaker 2nd. Titanic Hydra has crazy good synergy with Urgot's W, while the Stridebreaker active gives him that much needed mobility to reach and stick onto his targets. Once you complete this 2-item spike, Urgot becomes a juggernaut, as he's so difficult to kill with all the HP, but can still unload mass amounts of damage. The complete build is Titanic Hydra into Stridebreaker and then Black Cleaver 3rd. Press the Attack is disgustingly strong on Urgot, as his W can instantly proc it to give you that damage amplification. Follow with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand, opting for Bone Plating and Overgrowth for secondaries. Despite Riot's numerous attempts to bring down the Dunk Master, Darius remains a powerhouse pickup for patch 11.7. His early to mid game is hard to match for most top laners, giving him the ability to quite literally run away with any sort of advantage. By taking Ghost and Flash, you have the opportunity to relentlessly hunt down your opponents, sending them to the fountain time and time again. Unless Riot really hits Stridebreaker with a meaningful nerf or directly nerfs Darius himself, we'll likely be seeing him for many patches to come. It's actually kind of crazy to think that Darius has been an OP top lane pick for the entirety of Season 11. The only matchup Darius tends to struggle with at the moment is against Wukong, which we touched on earlier, so look to ban him out and you're all set. After completing Stridebreaker, go into Sterix 2nd and then Deadman's Plate 3rd. Conqueror will be your keystone with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Look the way of Resolve for secondaries, running Bone Plating and Unflinching. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at SkillCapped.com. We have professional courses by the top players, Smurf commentaries where a challenger player walks you through how to climb out of every rank from Iron to Diamond, and we upload tons of new exclusive guides to our website each week. In fact, we're so confident you'll improve using our system that if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a full refund. So there's no risk. So what are you waiting for? Check out SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. If you're in the mood to clown on some junglers for 11.7, then Shaco is the obvious pickup. First was Udyr, and now it's Shaco. These traditionally mediocre jungle picks are on the rise in Season 11, and Shaco is now a god-tier champ for solo queue. So many junglers have been nerfed in recent patches, while Shaco has been one of the few actually buffed, and this is leading to his rise in power. W buffs from 11.5 combined with the passive buffs back in 11.2 have quietly shifted Shaco into a monster pickup. Shaco's ability to impact the map early on is really great, and with any sort of advantage, he can just start one-shotting from stealth with zero counterplay. There's so much versatility build-wise for Shaco right now, which makes him an even more reliable pickup. AD and AP are both completely viable for 11.7, so building whatever fits best for your comp is often the way to go. The top performing build is a Stride Breaker Rush into Sanguine Blade 2nd and Essence Reaver 3rd. If you're looking to play AP, it's a Liandry's into Cosmic Drive and Zanya's. Take Halo Blades for the Keystone when playing AD with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Relentless Hunter. Grab Freeboots and Approach Velocity for secondaries. When playing AP, take Dark Harvest with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collector, and Ultimate Hunter. Secondaries will be Transcendence and Gathering Storm. Unless Riot actually hits Hecarim with a meaningful nerf, the horse will continue to run rampant around the Rift. Hecarim has the ability to affect games with a much higher success rate than other junglers due to his strong gank power and simplicity. With Ghost popped and E-charged, there is very little the enemy can do besides flash away when you gank early on. After burning the enemy's flash, since Ghost is on a much shorter cooldown, you can just rinse and repeat once Ghost is back up and grab yourself some guaranteed free kills. Even though Chemtank was nerfed this patch, the item will remain super broken, and even if you don't build Chemtank, buffed Trinity Force is another great option now in 11.7. What makes Hecarim so frustrating and imbalanced to play against is just how much move speed he can obtain to mow you down without any counterplay. Sure, his E move speed was nerfed slightly this patch, but it was giga broken before and will now just remain broken. Build-wise on Heck, Chemtank into Deadman's and Force of Nature will still be a solid pickup, but don't sleep on Trinity Force, especially since it was buffed and Chemtank was nerfed. If you want to go the route of the more carry-oriented build, follow the Trinity Force Rush with a Sterix 2nd and Death's Dance 3rd. Abuse Phase Rush to stack even more move speed with Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and Water Walking. Domination Secondary has fallen off in priority after the Ravenous Hunter nerfs last patch, so take Precision with Triumph and Tenacity. Our third solo carry jungle pickup for 11.7 is one of the premier AP options in Fiddlesticks. Fiddle is such a strong jungler for solo queue as his gank power post 6 and teamfight potential is second to none. The ability to execute gank plays from so many angles gives Fiddle this element of surprise that the enemy has to respect and play further back in lane because of it. If they don't, it's free kills all day long. As you transition into the mid game, you've always got the ability to flip a game around or extend a lead with that one good multi-man ult. If you can control vision around objectives and force the enemy to face check into you, that's when Fiddle's at his best. Let the enemy team walk into you, and while they're grouped up in a choke, strike with that huge game-changing ult play. Don't make the rookie mistake of starting the game off with a refillable potion. Since Fiddle's clear is quite healthy, grab a control ward instead and provide your team with some vision early on. For the build, rush a Rocket Belt into Zanya's and Void Staff. Take Electrocute with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collector, and Ultimate Hunter for primaries. Perfect Timing and Cosmic Insight work great for secondary runes. Moving on to mid lane now, the first champion we need to address is Katarina. There are very few mid laners in the game with the same amount of snowball potential and raw carry power that Katarina possesses. Early laning can be a little rough in certain matchups, but once you get the ball rolling, there's no turning back. The crazy mobility and consistent damage thanks to the resets from Katarina's passive allows her to remain a threat all throughout a teamfight and can clean up kills better than any other mid. The new Season 11 Summoner spell setup of Ignite and Teleport allows Kat to maintain solid kill threat early on, but also gives her the ability to get a base in without losing anything if poked out. The only matchup Kat has some issues with at the moment is against Galio, so using your ban on him is a great idea. Our analysts rate Katarina really highly at the moment, and a big factor for it is due to her extremely adaptable build paths. Just like the Shaco pick we mentioned earlier, Katarina can opt for either an AD or AP build depending on the game. This makes her a very reliable pickup as you'll never run into scenarios where your team is overloaded with one damage type. The best AP Katarina build is Nashor's Rush into Rocket Belt 2nd and then Zanya's 3rd. For the Korean AD build, rush a Divine Sunderer into Blade of the Rune King and Titanic Hydra. The AP rune setup is Electrocute to burst super hard with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Relentless Hunter. Relentless is really great now due to Ravenous being nerfed in 11.5. Secondary runes are Triumph and Coup de Grace. The AD rune setup is Conqueror with Triumph, Tenacity, and Coup de Grace. Grab Sudden Impact and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. For our second solo carry mid laner, he's a pick you can use to shut down so many of the meta mids, and it's Galio. Galio has indirectly become even stronger over the past few patches, due in part to Akali and Sylas receiving buffs, which has shot up their play rates. Galio's a great counter to both those champions, alongside other meta picks like Katarina, Fizz, Diana, really any melee AP assassin. Since longer ranged AP mages are played very rarely in the meta, Galio just doesn't get punished very often at all. Galio can struggle a little against AD mids like Talon or Lucian, so banning one of them out will alleviate counter potential. All in all though, Galio is a highly dependable mid laner who's always going to be useful and has insane good map impact with ult at level 6. If you're just looking for an easy mid laner to pick up and grab some free low with in 11.7, there's no better option than the Colossus. Build-wise, you can rush a Rocket Belt or Shirelius depending on your playstyle. Rocket Belt offers more damage, but Shirelius is cheaper and provides better engage. Pick up Zanya second and Void Staff third. Take Aftershock as the keystone with Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Grab Sorcery for secondary, running Nimbus Cloak and Transcendence. If you want more roaming power, then rolling with Predator can work great as well. Follow with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ingenious Hunter. Zed's already been in a really great spot over the past few patches, but he gets even better now due to the Cyrilda's Grudge buffs. With Seeker's Arm Guard nerfed quite heavily in 11.5, it makes these AD assassins like Zed even better too. There's just no easy way to negate a ton of Zed's bursts now, which leads to him being able to find early kills way easier and snowball a lead a lot faster. Sylas is one of the few matchups that can give you some difficulties, so it's a good idea to ban him out. With the new Prowler's Claw build really starting to emerge the past few patches, it gives Zed even more sticking power and outplay potential. If you use the Prowler's Claw active before your full combo, all abilities will deal an extra 15% damage for the next 3 seconds, which lets you burst even harder. Eclipse can also work really well if you're in need of some more tank shredding. Take Electrocute with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ultimate Hunter for primary runes. Roll with Transcendence and Scorch for secondaries. Alright, it's time we break down the 3 best solo carries in the bot lane, and let's start off with Jinx. The Loose Cannon has suddenly found herself on top of the ADC meta thanks to direct buffs a few patches back, and many other ADCs on the receiving end of nerfs. That range buff to Fishbones gives Jinx great bully power in lane, as most traditional ADCs can't match the range. Jinx is one of the best ADCs at capitalizing on a good engage from their support, as her Flame Chompers can be used to chain CC, while her W and ult can follow with lots of burst. This allows Jinx to grab early advantages much more often than other ADCs and hit her item spikes way faster. Thresh and Leona are both played at extremely high rates right now, and you could argue those are the 2 best synergies for Jinx. There's a couple different build options you can experiment with. Kraken Slayer into Hurricane and Infinity Edge is the teamfight-oriented tank shredding setup. For more single-target bursts and playmaking potential, try out Gale Force with Storm Razor and Rapid Fire Cannon. This build is becoming popular over in Korea. Many pros have been leaning the way of lethal tempo for the keystone over the past patch, with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. With domination nerfs from 11.6, many pros are now running Inspiration Secondary with Free Boots and Biscuits. It was as if she was never in the gutter at all, as Samira is back, and although not as busted as before, still a top 3 solo carry pick for 11.7. Riot buffs Samira back up, and combined with the shield bow changes from last patch, she's performing extremely well again. With Kai'Sa nerfed for 11.7, we wouldn't be surprised to see Samira's priority rise even further and have her break back into the 20% play rate level. The champion just has solo carry written all over her, as Samira's mobility combined with strong dueling power and crazy teamfight potential gives her a consistent way to always make an impact. There's nothing better than Shield Bow as a rush item, so pick it up every single game, followed by the Collector and Infinity Edge. Runes are pretty set in stone as well, as nothing beats Conqueror with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Last Stand. Ravenous Hunter and Taste of Blood are still the go-to secondary runes. Thanks to Kai'Sa and Tristana nerfs, Vayne will be sitting in a really great spot as a top carry force. Vayne's been hanging out just slightly below them in previous patches, so watch out for her to really shine alongside Samira for 11.7. Vayne's really been liking the way the meta has been shaping out as of recent, since we see very few lane bully ADCs being played. Draven just isn't the same champ he once was, and is being played so much less. Lucian isn't picked a ton, and MF has really fallen off in popularity. With Tristana nerfed in 11.7, we'll be seeing less of her, and that just leaves Caitlyn as one of Vayne's more difficult meta matchups. Whenever Lulu's in meta, it makes Vayne an even better pickup, and not only Lulu, but Seraphine and Morgana are also great synergies and being picked a lot. The full build for Vayne is Kraken Slayer into Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge. You can replace Kraken for Shield Bow if you want a little more survivability. Run Press the Attack combined with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace for primary runes. Domination Secondary is still outperforming everything else despite the nerfs, so continue to grab Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. Let's now finish off by shining light on the 3 best solo carry supports of 11.7, beginning with Blitzcrank. The pick power from Blitz Hook combined with his strong roaming potential on Moby's completion allows for really great authority as to how games play out. With the press of a single button, you can flip a game on a dime and be the sole reason for that victory screen. Playmaking has become even easier now thanks to the Shurelya's buffs from 11.6, as you'll be able to capitalize on the enemy's mispositioning way more often. Thresh, Rel, and Alistar have all been nerfed in 11.7 too, which opens things up for Blitz to really push through as that top tier playmaking support. After picking up Shurelya's, go into Zeke second and Knight's Vow third. Guardian is really underrated as the keystone for Blitz with Demolish, Bone Plating, and Overgrowth. Take inspiration for secondary, running Hex Flash and Biscuits. In spite of the nerfs to his W this patch, Thresh will still make the cut as a top 3 solo carry pickup. After all, the nerf is to his W shield at the later ranks, and even though W max Thresh was a really broken strategy, he's just a slightly less broken champ with a Q max. Similar to Blitzcrank, Thresh has loads of playmaking potential in his kit, so there's always going to be opportunities for you to have the ball in your hands. The level 2 all-in power from Thresh with Flay into Hook is so deadly and can give you an early advantage right off the hop. Lantern is one of the most powerful basic abilities in the entire game, as you can not only relay your teammate in for a crazy engage, but also instantly save your carries from harm's way. Many high elo Thresh players are finally starting to abuse Shurelya's, and with its buffs from last patch, it's an even better purchase now. Zeke's and Knight's Vow are really standard second and third purchases. Take Guardian for the keystone with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Grab Biscuits and Cosmic Insight from the Inspiration Tree. And last, but definitely not least, to conclude, the final support recommendation our analysts have in store is Leona. Alongside Thresh, Leona has been a go-to carry option for a few months now, and continues to rise above as a really dependable option. The amount of damage Leona can deal means you can still succeed even with those baboon ADCs you may be cursed with from time to time. I'm sure you've all played against that Leona who soloed out your ADC at level 3 and whacked away at them to win out and pick up first blood all by herself. The fact Leona takes no damage and also can output so much is what really makes her so broken. The resist from Leona W combined with the defensive power from Aftershock allows Leona to play so aggressive and strike for those early kills whenever she sees an opening. Leona's roam strength with Mobies is really amazing too, and the effectiveness of those roam plays are so great at level 6 when you have all that chain CC to work with. Rush a Locket into Zeke's and then Knight's Vow for the build. Aftershock with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching will be your primary runes. Take Hex Flash and Biscuits for secondaries. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Otherwise, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe for all the great content we've got planned. Until next time, good luck out there in 11.7, start dominating with these picks, and we hope to see you back here soon.